Lab number 6.3. In this lab we continue setup of our mobile first platform on Bluemix, and now it's time to go and set up the analytics container. We will start with modifying the configuration files. As you remember, we unpacked the evaluation image to our downloads folder, and inside the downloads folder now we have several things. So we have a folder called MFP server, which means Mobile First Platform Foundation server, where we will find scripts for installing the container for the platform itself. We will also use some things like install container command line interface before starting anything. This will add extension to our Mobile First Platform command line interface. And then we will go to analytics, and we will need to run through the process. We will need to run the process for setting the analytics container, which will consist of several steps. First of all, we will init environment, and then we will use prepare analytics SR script to prepare container, and then actually we will start this container on a Bluemix. All those script files will be launched with the arguments that we will need to first provide. So they can be provided in two options. First option, you can just run the script and it will ask you several questions. The second option, which we will follow, we will first fill the files and then start a script specifying that parameters can be found in those properties files. So let's go and install extension for our Mobile First Platform command line interface. For that, we will need to go inside the downloads folder, and then inside MPF server, and basically inside the scripts folder there will be a file called install container command line interface. So we will need to execute it under sudo for our IBM user, but in order to do that we will need to modify the path to include Mobile First Platform path for it. So the idea will be the following. First we need to type echo path with the $sign before it to find the current path for IBM user, and then basically we will need to copy everything starting with specifying command line interface, just like that. And the next thing that we will need to do is to type with the sudo user atom, and then we will try to modify a file located under etc folder, and this file called sudoers. So the idea is that sudo path is overwritten every time, and in Ubuntu the way how to modify it, how to apply any changes, is to change something called secure path. So basically we will just need to pass that line that we copied afterwards. Just make sure that you split it with double dot, otherwise it will kill your sudo normal work, so make sure you did it. Afterwards you can close this file and just type sudo and then this install container command line interface as such. That's it, nothing else is needed. This line can be ignored. This is the small bug in the script. Actually, it was just checking whether the platform is there. So you can ignore this step. When it says done, and it means that it deployed a container, we've done with this small step. And the next step that we will need to do, we will need to go back to our folder where we have the analytics. So instead of MFPF server, we will go to MFPF analytics, and there we also have a folder called scripts. And basically what we will do, we will open this folder using again Atom text editor. There are some issues with permissions. Let's open it under sudo. Yeah, so the files that we will need to modify, as I said, already located under arguments folder. So first of all, we will need to provide information about our Bluemix account. So please fill in the Bluemix user, the passwords, the organization, and the space. And the way how to do it is pretty simple. So first of all, you will need to have a Bluemix account. This is obvious, and for that you should already complete the prerequisite lab where you're creating the Bluemix account. Second, you should have your Bluemix organization. By default it's only one, named by the name of your account. I will show it in a second. The third, you will need to have the US South region, and in that region you need to create space without spaces in the name. So let's open the browser and I will show how it looks. You need to go to console and log in using your credentials. So I will do the same. So after you're logged in, again, as I said, make sure you're in US South region. In case you don't, change the region to US South. If you're first time there, it will ask you to create a space. In my case, I created a space with a name default. So the only important thing here is do not have for example, two separate words and a space in between in the name of this space. So like in my case, I just called it default without any spaces. Organization name usually named by the name of your account. So we will need to test it, and we can do it by going back to our console and type in ICE login. Just click enter afterwards. Now you need to provide your credentials, the same as you're providing in order to log into Bluemix. So just email first and then the password. Let me do the same. After you will be authenticated, you will see that you actually have the information about your organization and the space right here. So the idea is that you just need to copy those values and pass it inside the text file that we are going to edit with your values, so the username and the organization and the space, and just fill in your password. As you already noticed, there are some warnings, let's say like this, when we were trying to log in, and this is because, first of all, we need to set up a namespace. So the way it works, you need to type ICE namespace, and then you have two options, either get, either set. So the get is used to get the current name of the namespace. By default, there is nothing. And as you can see, the response is that the namespace is not specified. And then you just need to say namespace set and provide the name of it. Again, make sure you don't have any spaces. And I will use something like MFP help demo, let's say like this. You need to use your own name, and this will be unique value that you cannot change. So make sure you set up something that you would like to. This namespace will be used to actually register your container in a Bluemix registry. So we just need to wait until this operation will finish. So now I will go and fill this file, and you should do the same. And after filling, just save this file and close it. So the next step, after we will execute the init environment script with these property files, will be to actually launch the second file, which called prepare analytics environment properties, and we will first configure all the properties and then execute the scripts. So in this file, we'll need to change a few things. First of all, this repository namespace should be changed with the name that you set as your namespace. So in my case, this is this one. In your case, you may have different ones, so please pass it right here. And then there is a name of your container. This is actually the random thing. You can type whatever you want. I will do something like MFP help analytics, just like that. So basically, that's all that you need to do with this prepare analytics properties file. You can close it. And the third one is start analytics properties. And here, as you can see, you again need to provide this image tag, so you can copy it from prepare analytics. Then the container name, here you will need to define the name that you want to have for your container. So I will type MFP analytics, something like that. And then the IP address. In order to enter the IP address, as it says in the description, you need to type ICE IP request. So basically the idea is that by default in your demo account, you have a possibility to create containers with maximum of 2 GB of RAM, the usage, and then you can request several public IP addresses, and we will do so. So go and say ICE IP request in your terminal. So this is the IP address that was assigned to you. So you just need to copy it and pass inside our properties file and save it. That's all. Now we can close this properties file and everything else and go back to terminal and start executing our scripts. So as you remember, we're starting with init environment. So we will do it init environment as such. I would recommend you to do it under sudo user, but you can also do it without the sudo user. But before you will actually execute it, we need to make sure that two things are working. So first is that we have a correct login and we don't have this line that you can see now in my case. That line means that actually you don't see the running Docker machine nearby. So in order to actually check or say to our command line interface that the machine is running, we need to enter the following line. So first you need to check your Docker machine. So type Docker machine ls to check that it's running. As you can see, it says running. And next you need to pass the line that you can find either from the description of this line or you can type it. It's pretty small. Eval means evaluate Docker machine environment default. That's it. And now you can try ICE login again. And you should not be seeing that line again. I mean, you remember that we had a line saying that you cannot pull or push containers. So basically after this login completion, you can start executing the scripts. And we will start with init environment and then providing the properties from arguments folder, args folder, init environment properties. So now you can execute the second one, which is prepare analytics and again arguments, prepare analytics.properties. This may take a while. It really depends now on mainly on your network connection, because it will first build an image. It won't take a while, but it will take some time. And then it will try and actually will do a push of this image to Bluemix platform. So you probably noticed that I speeded up this process a bit on video. Actually, a bit means 12 times. So normally it takes about 20 minutes with my internet connection. So it really depends, and as I said already, it really might take a while. But afterwards, after this first push, if you will change anything, most probably it will be almost fluent, because all the other things are already pushed. So the same will apply in next lab when we will visit up in the server itself. So once we will do the first push, next time we will change the WAR file, for example, it will be almost fluent because all other parts of the image are already there. So it will only push the delta. So now we actually need to either launch the last script, which will actually create the container from the image that we pushed, or we can do it manually. So in next lab we will do it using the script, and this I propose to you to do it manually. And what it means is that we will go back to Bluemix and click Start Container from a dashboard, and then you will be able to select your MFP analytics, your container that you just, your image that you just pushed, and you can create your container from it. So first we need to set a container name. I will use something like MFP Analytics Demo, for example. Then you need to specify the size, and in our case it should be 1 gig. And the public IP, as you remember, we requested the IP. So I will assign this IP, and I will also need to specify the ports, and you should do the same. So 9080 in my case will be the first one, TCP, and second one will be 9443, again with TCP. Basically that's it. Afterwards you can click create, and basically a container will be created from that image. Then the build process will start, and then finally your container will be launched. So in total it usually takes about 2 minutes. So let's wait until this process will be finished. So our container is running now, and basically now we can copy this IP address that we assigned to it, open another tab in our browser and pass this IP address, and 9080 is the port, and then analytics. And you should be able to see the same. So the username and the password is admin. And afterwards you should be in a second logged in totally empty dashboard. So there will be no data because nobody's submitting data there. But there should be a dashboard, and let's wait until it will load. Yeah, so as you can see, empty dashboard, but it's already working. This is our container working on a Bluemix platform with our MobileFirst Platform analytics. So on this step, actually, our lab number 63 is finished, and we will continue with the MobileFirst Platform server setup in next lab. Thank you.